Hey, welcome everybody
Oh,
to
hey there.
Powerhouse Fence Show. Where am I? Where are we? Where are they? Right there. Cool. Hey y'all.
Over
Zach
here.
Shu here. Memphis Fence Company. MFC Manufacturing Powerhouse Fence Show.
Hey, don't forget Paulo.
I don't. Do I work for Simpalo? I guess I do. Kind of. This show is brought to you by Simpalo, Memphis Fence Company, MFC Manufacturing, Dan's Wallet. We say that.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Presented
Dan.
by Dan's Wallet.
Thank you, Dan.
You're
Thanks for
welcome, Zach.
supporting this fun venture.
Thanks for being here. It's
Yeah.
enjoyable.
So this is Dan Turbyville,
It's lovely.
owner and host, and I will be considered the other host. So welcome everybody. This is a pre-recorded episode. We got schedule conflicts going on, so we're not going live this week.
Why is that? What was the reason again?
Well,
because of Zach.
Oh.
We had to reschedule 3 times because of Zach.
But why can we not go live tomorrow now?
Because I'm busy.
Yeah, so I was going to go out of town. I was going to go to Hampton Coliseum for a festivity. A band called Goose is performing for 2 nights, and it's an event called Goosemas.
Ooh.
2 nights only.
And
going
then,
anymore?
what?
You're not going anymore?
Not going. We canceled. We decided it was extremely irresponsible to do that
Man, look at
right
you.
at Christmas time. And our 2 daughters' birthdays are January 8th and January the 16th. So we've got Christmas, 3 kids with a Christmas, and then 2 birthdays immediately following.
So somehow our family had, like, my wife's family and mine, there's like 12 birthdays in January.
Amazing.
It's crazy. We can almost just have like one party and celebrate everyone's at once. But no, that would make too much sense. They want to have an individual party for every single person. So if your birthday is on the same day as another person, you have a
Yes.
breakfast party and a dinner party.
I'm going to try this
Yes.
joke. Let's see if I've got it right. So the Easter Bunny wasn't the only person behaving like a rabbit in the month of April. Did that work? Easter's in April. Easter Bunny.
Is it 9 months from April
I think
to
that
January?
tracks. Yeah.
I
Okay.
just counted.
Okay.
So
Right.
that's a long, maybe slow burn. Maybe, I don't know. Someone will have to count backwards.
No,
So,
that's good. As long as it.
eh,
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Good
All
job.
right. You're a farmy country. Well, at least you're wearing cowboy boots. But do you know about like husbandry and reproduction of farm animals or rabbits farm animals?
You
I
know,
don't even know if that's a
I
real.
had cows.
Is that close? Is that similar to a rabbit?
A cow? No, cows are useful.
I knew someone who was raising these giant Newfoundland rabbits
Can
for
you keep
food.
your hand
Yeah,
on your
I'm gonna
side,
put it
Pete,
under
please?
the table. I'm so sorry. my
Zach,
my
Zach's
finger,
hand is like halfway cut off.
yeah,
Look
my
at-
thumb is bleeding through the Band-Aid as we speak. It's the best I could do for the
Yeah.
show. Thumbs up. I've been working in the shop today doing one of my.
Good thing we're not monetized on YouTube because we would have just been demonetized.
Why?
Blood. You can't show blood
Oh,
on YouTube. And
That's not blood. This is a beautifully colored Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid.
All right.
It's like a. I don't know.
My weekly North Carolina construction report.
Cool.
That's important.
We will have. Hopefully, we'll have a need for that soon.
Yeah.
What was I saying? I was saying something good, man.
Who knows, man?
And
You were
then
talking about like rabbits and husbands.
I was changing this. I was going off that. Oh, I've been doing my favorite thing to do today, so I'm like super happy. A lot of stress has been lifted. I've really enjoyed doing what I've been doing today. I've been fabricating, which is a love of mine. Welding, fabricating, and doing some managing and training simultaneously. So that's been pretty awesome. There's one customer that would be overjoyed to hear this
if we get their gate installed.
Right. And then there's the other customers who have been potentially neglected today will not be so excited.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But what have you been working on? Let's tell the people what you've been building.
So I call it Bam Bam.
Yeah.
And Because I think it's fun. I think it's fun to have fun, and I name projects funny names.
Wait, did you? I don't think you made the name.
Are you sure?
I don't think Alyssa made the name.
I don't think so.
We'll see what she says about that, but I'm
Well,
pretty sure she made the name.
Either way, she may have said it, coined it. I have perpetuated it,
Yeah.
accepted it, and
It's just-
even addressed it as such to the customer.
It's around now.
So I'm rolling with it.
So what is it?
I love the name. Is what's most important.
All
Who
right,
came
cool.
up with it? The credit. Anyone can have it. I love it.
So what is it? What
So
are you working
this
on?
is it's a giant gate for a 30-foot opening,
Mm. It's not-
made out of.
It's not that big.
Well, it's
What do you
made
mean
out
giant?
of. It's made out of 4x6 rectangular tube, quarter wall rectangular tube.
Mm.
There are 3 horizontal members.
Mm.
Each horizontal member contains a section of 1-inch steel cable.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the breaking strength of this cable.
Mm.
Do you?
Something like 108,000 pounds
Per cable.
Yeah.
I
I think that's right.
It hinges on a piece of 2-inch solid bar.
Mm.
It's beautiful. I mean,
Like,
I can't describe this and do it any justice. Even the people who are building it
So
are
here's
just
here's
now
the
saying,
here's the answer: is a crash gate.
"Oh, crash gate." So
Yeah.
I'm going with the details.
Yeah,
Apparently, I'm the
you went
detail
all
guy.
in.
So this thing, one leaf is so heavy that 2 men can't pick it up. So it exceeds
It's
probably 500, 600 pounds per leaf.
It's a beast. So this MFC manufacturing, we are building a crash gate right now.
And what is a crash gate intended to do?
Destroy whatever crashes into it.
And not allow someone to trespass or enter the property.
Yeah, so make sure you put a camera on it.
So-
Anyone out there with a crash gate, make sure you put cameras on it so you can get cool videos
Because we
when
want to
people run
see
into
the
it.
results. I'm so sorry, y'all. Hey, I've been looking into space.
I know it's kind of weird. We keep moving the cameras around every which way,
I
and so
like
we
this,
never
though.
really know where to look.
So this came about. We have a customer, and they sell pressure washers, big, huge ones.
Yeah.
Expensive pieces of equipment. I think one of the smallest ones we just bought, smaller ones, was like 10 grand. And then they go up in size and value from there.
Yeah,
And what
so
they
like the hot
experienced-
water pressure washer that mixes soap in with it and all that kind of stuff. Industrial cleaning type of pressure
Exactly.
washer, I guess.
And that's what they do. They sell cleaning products as
Yeah.
well. And so what happened was a couple of different occasions, someone used a box truck and backed it into their chain link gate repeatedly until the gate just was demolished.
Yeah.
We built them a new gate, put it up. Same thing happened again.
I think this happened 4 or 5 times in 2023.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we proposed an idea of, hey, let us build you a crash gate and put in there. We want to try building a crash gate and let's put it in there and see what
Right.
it does.
And we came to what's the word I'm looking for here?
A mutually beneficial agreement.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So we came to an agreement on cost that we thought would work for us to experiment, and they were like, "Okay, that's cheap enough, or whatever. I consider that a decent value that you can experiment on me."
Yeah.
The cool part about it is it's bright red. It's
Yeah.
it's like fire extinguisher red.
I thought you were about to say something else, but that's cool. It's like, but all right.
I was trying to use a color that's not
That's
trademarked.
their color, right? Like that's their brand is red.
Little do they know they share the same color code with
With
another brand.
Someone who sells
A
auto
lot of brands.
with someone who sells auto parts, as
Don't
it
tell
turns
them.
out. But
I don't think they watch this show.
so this is what we'll do. We're gonna build the gate or finish the gate, install the gate. When are you installing it? Next week?
Friday. We're gonna try to get in Friday.
Still
So
shooting
maybe
for Friday.
Yep. And maybe
So
not.
this thing,
if
it's
not
pretty cool.
Saturday.
And there's a lot of hours in development of this thing and design and trying to figure out how to hinge it and latch it and all this stuff in a way that would sustain an impact from a vehicle. And so what we'll do is we'll put some pictures. Ilaria, I've already taken a couple of pictures of the cable inside and all that the other day. And Ilaria will get some pictures of it once it's installed, and we'll post that so y'all can all see what we're talking about.
One of the fabricators has been taking pictures along the way. Also, some action shots of me working and welding. So
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Cool.
everyone will believe I'm a fabricator. It's not a
It's-
fabrication.
We use Photoshop a
I
lot. So.
actually fabricate.
Got pretty
Yeah, so that's what I've been working on today, partly due to my experience has been needed in the shop
Mhm.
to be able to do this. And then also the hands-on aspect. I could walk over there and say, this is how, okay, now weld that out. But
Yeah.
it's really just going faster and smoother, and I think going to work out for us if I build it. Plus, it's like the prototype.
Yep.
So there's a lot
Well,
of
and
head
there's a lot
scratching.
of so
that's
like for
going
the whole
on.
hinge system on there, it's pretty precise. So
It
like
really
we
is.
had he said we don't want to sit here and talk about this for the whole hour, right?
I
So
loved-
I'm
I would
trying
love
to like
to.
get to a conclusion. But
I'll stop talking.
so he said we put in this 2-inch bar. So it's a precision turned, chrome plated, cold rolled, solid piece of steel. It's like a 50-pound bar that is the pin for the hinges. And so we had some collars made that have like bronze bushings inside of them and all that stuff. And I don't remember what the tolerance was, but it was pretty tight. I mean, like 5,000, 7,000,
I don't
something
speak
like
machinist, man.
that. Yeah. And so it's pretty precise where it needs to be, and like getting everything in there lined up just right so that it's not going to be bound up. So
Yeah, and my it's pretty dadgum tight.
yeah, pretty tight. Zach
That's
was
how
like,
I
I
look
can
at it.
move it if I use a 8-foot-long pry bar and have 3 people pushing it. Is that good enough?
It actually has resulted in just me.
Working the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
move it up. I can move it down.
Yeah, cool. So let's move on.
Okay,
We'll show you some pictures. It is exciting. It's exciting for us. Sorry y'all had to endure that if you're not into that kind of stuff. So we already talked about we're not live. This is
If
recorded.
they're not into that kind of stuff, they're not my audience.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Go to some other show.
Right. I'm just kidding.
So I again, like normal, I want to say thank you, listeners. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting us.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you.
us,
Thank you.
Give us a like, comment, rating, some sort of affirmation. So I stole that word from Joe Evers. He says affirmation. I like that.
We reached 100 followers on Instagram.
We what?
We reached 100 followers on Instagram.
Hey, there we go.
Thank you for all the hard work you do.
Ilaria
Thanks.
putting in the work,
Yes.
getting it done. So next time we're gonna have 1,000.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a goal.
And so yeah, let us know you like it, and then also we're open to hear what you want to hear, who you want us to have on the show.
Yeah,
any of that kind
we're
of
just
stuff.
asking just a response. Good, bad, either
Yeah,
way.
we don't care.
Right.
If we think we suck, tell us.
Yeah.
Be like, y'all suck, but
That's cool.
I mean, at least give a reason why. That would be cool. All right, so let's hear some Italian this week. How about preparations?
Preparazione.
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 No. I mean, I guess.
Well, whatever. We tried.
It's pepperoni, right? Isn't that what you said?
At the same time, it's contemporaneamente.
What?
Contemporaneamente.
Contemporaneamente.
Why are there so many syllables in
Right,
that
that's
word?
like
What
20
is it?
seven
It's
syllables.
literally one of the longest word we have, I think. But you want to?
What is the longest word in Italian?
I don't know. I thought it was that one.
It's not longer than supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
but
that's
we do
too
have
bad
that one
that's-
too in Italian. So
Do you?
yeah,
All right.
Say it in Italian. It's the same.
it's almost
You just add it.
supercalifragilisticexpialidoso.
Odozo.
Oh yeah.
That's the only
So-
difference. It sounds much better. So that's Mary Poppins, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So you watch Mary Poppins in Italian.
Yes.
That sounds
That makes sense.
lovely.
I didn't know that it made it over there.
It sounds lovely.
How lovely. Okay.
Yeah, they finally stretched a fiber optic cable across the ocean and are
What?
able to transmit signals.
You're welcome, world. We can
I
now
is-
share Mary Poppins with the world.
I is smarting today.
All right. So next week, I am attending the Fence Business Conference by Thornton, whatever.
Thornton
What is
and-
it? The Thornton Consulting Group, Thornton Fence Consulting Group. I do terrible at this. Oh my goodness. So I'll be there.
Hey, Mr.
And I think the plan is next Thursday morning because I'm driving back Thursday. So I think the plan is next Thursday morning, we're going to do a show. I don't
Okay.
know if you saw this yet. And it will be like me sharing my experience of being there.
I'll do it. If we're doing a show, I'll do a show.
All right, cool.
So yes.
So listeners, you have that to look
Accept.
forward to in a week.
Are you gonna do any you know what I mean? On site?
I
You
don't
gonna
know.
get us any inside?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously I'd like to see something
Because it is a paid event. So like I don't know how they feel. Like probably can't record any of the people speaking, but I might be able to talk to some folks.
and are you gonna be on a panel?
Yeah.
And we want to see that.
Yeah.
It-
I'll make
Not
sure
so
that
much
no one
you,
records
but
that.
the other people on the we want to see the panel.
I'm gonna make sure nobody records that. Maybe a picture is okay, but
Just kidding. Well, we talked
Yeah.
Justin Judy, we talked to Justin Judy. He said he didn't know if there was anyone recording, but that's a cool idea. But this is kind of cool with this whole idea of exchanging knowledge and all that, sharing our successes and
failures.
insights and right.
Yeah.
I want to share one success
What's that?
eventually.
Oh, okay. One of these
I like how
days.
you I wish that was scripted. That was good. Which one is it? Well, I haven't had one yet.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, we can share failures. I will say if you're building a 30-foot long single swing gate, make sure you put the hinge in the right place. That's important.
Ooh, boy, do you ever.
Yeah, so we did that. We built it's a 60-foot double, 8-foot tall ornamental gate. We built it out of aluminum. And somebody put one of the hinges in the wrong place, and we had to drive like an hour and a half to the job site. They spent 2 days moving
That part
this
we
hinge.
didn't have to spend. We didn't have to spend 2 days. We shouldn't
Yeah.
have had to spend 2 days.
Yeah,
Wow.
right. But either way, that's the way it worked. All to move the hinge up 10 inches.
So I think I have a theory. You know the telephone game? Are you familiar with this
Yeah.
concept?
Yeah.
So you say a thing. Everyone knows it. I'm gonna say it anyways. You say a thing, you pass it to the next person, it goes down the line. So I'm curious. So if you have
You want
a
you know what I just
directive,
realized? So remember when I flipped this mic over the other day
yeah,
and I spent all this time? Watch this.
yeah, that's how we did it the first
It
time.
would just flip around that way. I'm such an idiot. Oh my goodness.
So telephone game, you pass the language, whatever of
Yeah,
saying person
through
to
a
person
chain
to
of
person to
people.
person. So I have this theory. This is the thing I just thought. That speaking of taking 2 days, and it really because my immediate thought is how long would it have taken the pair of us to do that? So I'm thinking, so if you're the top and the information comes directly from you, which sometimes it does, sometimes it comes from me. So there's not as many people in the chain. So I think if it takes you 2 hours, then it goes to me, then it takes me 4 hours. And then it goes down the
So
line.
it
And so by the
doubles.
time it gets to the bottom,
It's 16 hours.
yeah, that's how that works.
Probably.
It's like the telephone game, but with labor hours.
It checks out. It doubles every level.
Okay,
of
so here's
people.
the first part. You don't eat lunch, I eat lunch. So it immediately takes me a little bit longer.
right.
That's one thing,
Yeah.
you know, and wherein I might scratch my head at the beginning and then start the job. Then the next guy now he takes lunch, 2 breaks, and scratches his head before and after each break. Okay, sorry. It'd be funny to see this in a little cartoony thing. I'm just goofing off. It took 2 days. That's what it took. I mean, that's how this goes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I was talking to Zach and I said, that's $8,000 in lost revenue by us shutting down our installation for 2 days to go fix something that somebody messed up. It's a big deal. So that's
I'd love to
little
use
details,
your saying bought lesson is a taught lesson, but nobody bought that lesson. You
except
bought
me,
that.
and I already knew the answer. So I bought it for someone else.
I gotta
hopefully.
say, that will never happen again.
We got
As far as I
check
can
that one
say.
off the box.
As far as I can say, under my eye, watchful eye.
Right. We learned, man. That's
and
been
that
a
was
rough
painful.
job.
That was
Golly.
hard, man. That's painful for me.
All right, so let's talk about this NASA deal. It's spelled NACA for anyone listening.
You mean NASCAR?
No, it's
I
still
thought we were going to talk about NASCAR. I was ready.
NACA. It's the generic version of the people that send things to the moon. All right, so here's the concept. I was talking to this guy the other day, and I said, "Hey, well, actually, I called him up, and I was like, what would a fellow like me have to do to hire a guy like you?" And of
Okay.
course, his immediate funny response was, "Oh, about 300,000 a year, probably do it." And I was like,
Okay.
"Yeah, I bet it would." And so the conversation then evolved into him saying, "Look, I got to hire some people in the near future too, and I've been trying to figure out this process." And so he says, "Here's what I'm thinking is I want to sit down, write a list of my NASA team. So if I were to build a spaceship that's going to the moon, this is the team of people that I would want involved in that kind of project." He said, "And then I'm going to look at each one of those people and I'm going to figure out the characteristics that they all have in common. So look at some commonality among this group of people and try to figure out what type of characteristics I'm looking for in a person and then tailor interview questions to find those characteristics." So what are your thoughts? Zach is just staring at me very blankly. And so for anyone listening to the podcast, y'all miss out on
There's
the
a
video
lot
stuff
in there. There's a lot in that for me.
I
First, I'm
know.
like, I don't like. I feel under-equipped or ill-equipped to be the guy choosing the people or determining their skill set. Am I doing a decent job of that now? Do I really think about that? And so then,
Well,
and then I'm
so what
also
we
so if
do-
I'm not the one choosing, then I'm on the team. Hopefully,
Mhm.
team member am I? Right? That's what I immediately
So-
think is which team. That was my first immediate thought is which team member am I?
So
Oh
right
wait, so now I'm choosing a team.
right now, how do we hire people? I knew you, right?
Yeah.
So I knew you, but how do we choose people? We just like Ilaria, you've been interviewed by Memphis Fence Company, and it's a pretty informal thing. Like, let's just sit and chat for a while.
How do we intuitively? I think honestly, it's a
I
kind
think
of a gut feeling kind
I
of
think
thing.
if you and that's the same like with people. If you vibe with someone,
Mm.
it's already like your gut is like, okay, this could potentially be a good person.
So for anyone listening, we do ask questions and we do talk about what we're expecting a person to do and the job and the business and all of that kind of stuff. And so what I look for and what I saw in Ilaria was some excitement, right? So
Mhm.
I interviewed other people that we've talked about this
Mhm.
who were more qualified, who had experience in doing things similar to what we're trying to do. But I didn't see that level of excitement in them. And so I chose that excitement, attitude, personality over experience and knowledge, right? I take that choice. But like that's a kind of a different thing. So I kind of like his idea. And my thoughts have been like with us trying to expand and get into doing other things and all of this stuff, my thought has been like if we're going to go play in the major leagues, we need some superstars.
Right.
Right. So kind of similar analogy, but not as in depth as him looking at character traits. So for whatever that's worth, I just wanted to share. I thought it was kind of neat conversation that I had here within
That's
the
an
past week. So
I like this. I like it. And I've been thinking about it today. I've hired one of the guys we have whatever that I hired recently that's turned out to be really awesome. Has been with us a little while. And then I got a new guy who's about a weekend and is looking pretty rad.
mhm.
So the thing about that teamship and developing the team is when your pitcher quits regularly or you lose that, like it's difficult
Can you
to
define regularly so that we look less terrible?
what?
How often is your pitcher quitting?
Oh, well, lately it's not been quitting. It's not been their choice. It's been my decision.
Okay. So we're losing our pitcher. How frequently? Twice a year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or once a year, I think.
Okay.
And honestly, I think that was just because it was
Well, when you
allowed to
say
go on longer
regularly-
than necessary.
When you say regularly, my mind goes to like every 2 weeks.
But that's kind of like a
somebody's coming
sports
and
team.
going.
Yeah, they get new. I guess they don't get a whole new team each season, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how sports works, but they can do like trades and they draft people.
let's
and
do that.
do trades.
Yeah, let's institute the Fence Workers Association trade
And draft.
ship or whatever.
Draft. So
I don't even know what that means.
people that graduate out of
Oh, right. Yeah.
the fence school, whatever that's going to be, then all of the fence companies get together and we pick our draft picks. Yeah, good idea. All right, we need a Brian
Move.
Fredrickson. If you're listening, you're the guy to get the job done.
He's gonna do the fence workers draft.
Yeah,
Facilitate the fence workers draft.
FWA draft.
Well, we've talked about that, about wanting to
He'll-
go to trade schools or high schools or whatever.
He
and-
probably has bought the domain already, fencedraft.com.
So we're gonna have like fantasyfenceteam.com.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and so you get points by how good your
Trading cards.
how good your fence team does at the fence games,
Yes.
at the trade shows.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. All right, so we're almost 30 minutes into this thing. Our agenda is 5 pages long. We've yet to even make it into the meat and taters.
Okay. You wrote too
Um,
long of an agenda.
No, what happened was I started writing this agenda and then I realized, wait a minute, this whole topic that I had planned to talk about is not going to fit into one show.
Right.
Now I'm concerned about the broken down part of it even fitting into one show.
You could
so
just,
I
I'll just
think-
be quiet and you just recite everything on the,
Just read it
just read it.
like dry, clear eyes,
Exactly.
like in my normal voice.
Right.
Yeah, that's exciting. What do you think about that camera angle? That's
like
pretty
it.
crazy, isn't it?
It's cool.
So that's
They can see my pretzels.
yeah, they can.
Oh my gosh.
And they can see your drink.
I think it's a
Well,
little
that's
dark.
okay. I don't mind. It's just coffee.
It is a little dark. I don't know why that GoPro does that. There's probably some settings that we're just not qualified to use.
We are qualified to read the script.
Yeah, that's it. We sit here and we talk. That's what we got. But I do think it's a cool shot up there. That's neat. All right. So, anyways, so we're going to start our talk about like job preparation and organization and stuff like that. So, kind of what happens after you sell a job, but before you're on the job site. This is going to take us several episodes to get through. So just bear with us a little bit. We already talked about how I thought I don't even know how many. I did put a note here that says, guarantee we're not getting through this whole thing in an hour. So it is something that we struggle with, right? Like the whole organization of where Zach loves to eat, for anyone who doesn't know that. He eats like 12 times a day.
Today I only ate once
What?
because I was working.
Oh, wow. It's pretty fascinating. I learned that when we were in Las Vegas. And it's like, we got done eating and we walked 300 feet. And he's like, yeah, look, there's a restaurant. So it took us 4 days to walk 3 miles down the strip because we had to stop at every restaurant.
What else are you gonna do
I don't know.
in Vegas?
Right.
What other wholesome activities? Ride a roller coaster. Go to Meow Wolf,
Check.
and then basically just walk the whole strip.
Watch the fountain.
How many times did we? I mean, we did that several times.
Yeah,
4 or 5.
I did that a few times when you were in bed. I just like went and leaned on the rail and
I
watched the
did that
fountain.
while I was in bed too, because my window overlooked the fountain.
Yeah, I know. Mine looked at the dumpster in the back.
So what are we talking about? We're going to start talking about our
All right.
project preparation process.
So this whole thing has been kind of like a series. And before we tell you how to bid a commercial job, we want to tell you all the things that can go wrong and the things that I believe you need to know before you get into it. So here's kind of a recap of some of the important things that we've talked about so far. Episode number 5 called Cash is King.
Mhm.
Episode number 6, scheduling pains, which I think we may kind of duplicate a little bit of that. Oh, well, actually, what
It's back.
Cool. Good thing it's not live.
yeah, right.
Oh, hey.
Except the recording is just being streamed like it was live. So episode 8 through 10 is where we had a banker on, then we had one of our vendors on, we had an insurance guy on. All of that plays into doing these jobs. And then 13 and 14, we talked about employees, payroll, and taxes. So there's been that's kind of leading up to where we're headed. The beginning of this is going to be talking about contract documents, right? So super boring. I'm sorry, but it is something important. And I don't know. I thought maybe one day we might get like a legit, some sort of contract professional attorney or something like that to come on the show. And they
Mhm.
might be able to dive a little deeper than what we're capable of doing. All I can share with you is my experience. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a professional at making contracts or anything, but
The
we can share
bigger
our
the
experience.
GC, the more complicated the paperwork is. That is definitely true.
Yeah, for sure. So we have done work for local small general contractors, and we have done work for the largest general contractor in America. And I can definitely tell you the bigger they are, the more complicated they are. So just keep that in mind. If you've never done a job for a general contractor before, you might want to start with like some local smaller contractors. Don't go out and try to find the biggest, baddest contractor there is, because it's going to be complicated. So yeah, I would suggest getting your feet wet, kind of starting there and then building up, right? Don't jump in and go for the NASA team. Don't go for the major leagues right out of the gate.
NASCAR team. I was just thinking NASCAR works too because you're going to have a pit crew.
Mm. Yeah, you have a team in NASCAR. You have, I mean, you
I'm
have
sorry.
lots of teams of things in the world. That's going to be turned into a great reel. There's lots of team things in the world. All right.
There's lots of things that are teams.
So do we talk about that?
That's
right
up
there
to you,
that I have
boss. That's
highlighted?
your
What do you
that's your
think?
baby.
Mm,
Maybe soon. Maybe next time.
I mean, okay. All right. So when you get a contract,
We're talking about doing contracting more than fence. That's it. That's a real quick version.
okay, yeah. So when you get a contract, it's going to include a lot of things. And again, the bigger the contractor, the more complicated it is, and the more paperwork. So it may be 5 pages long. It may be 175 pages long, and it may be anything in between. You have any, or
End of the
have
episode.
we exhausted the Zach for the night?
I was just reading the last contract I read.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it was long.
they're pretty exciting reads.
It was very long.
Man, they really lose me because they don't have any pictures.
Come
Like
on now.
I'm more of a picture kind of dude. If you're gonna give me a book, I'd like for it to have some pictures and illustrations in it.
Get out of here.
Yeah. That's why I like reading books to my kids at night. They got lots of pictures. What?
I make my children listen to me read like stupid stuff they don't want to listen to. And they're like, okay, I'll go to bed.
All right, fine. The pout fish, man, that's good stuff.
Oh, we've been reading that.
Yeah.
We've been reading that.
And then the what is it? The mustache baby.
Yeah,
Mhm.
contracts are annoying for me. I mean, lately, especially because I was hoping I could just
Pass it to someone and not
put
have
it
to
on
do
your
it?
desk. Of
Mhm.
course. I'll just email that to the boss. He's got the power, man. He's
Mhm.
got the power.
Yeah. So kind of the way I like to operate is Zach gets to read it first, and Zach
Not gets to. Like it's a privilege. No, it is a privilege. I do feel privileged to be that, welcomed into that level of whatever
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool to be that part of, and I've signed one.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, we shouldn't. All right, moving on. So yeah, I like for people to read the
a
contract
practice
first.
one, like the
Yeah,
checks
yeah.
at Children's Museum, where you
Mhm.
go to the like grocery store and they have cardboard cutouts of food. That's
Yeah.
basically how that went.
Right. So I like for the people to read their contract first and then give it to me. And like, give me your thoughts. Tell me what you saw in there that's scary or good or bad or whatever the case may be.
The crazy stuff that stood out to me was the insurance thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. The whole thing is a whole contract is basically general contractors get a bunch of attorneys together and they write this really long document to try to figure
Like,
out
how
how to
can we-
protect them against anything.
Right. How can we do this job, make money, and not be liable at all?
Right.
That's amazing.
In fact, we're going to make your insurance cover anything that goes wrong on this job before ours does anything.
Right. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
There was some other stuff there too that was like, what? Now I'm liable for the concrete guy somehow?
Episode 10, we talk
Yeah.
about insurance.
Okay. So
yeah, it's crazy. And so insurance requirements will be one of the things, license requirements, bond requirements, if they are in there.
which I don't know much about that yet, but we'll get there. Certificate of insurance is a pretty common thing, even if you're a small guy doing small stuff.
So what gets weird about the certificate of insurance thing is sometimes they're easy. And then sometimes, depending on the job that you're working on, they might have some really crazy insurance requirements.
Or they might think that they have crazy insurance requirements and your insurance actually meets their requirements.
Yeah, and then you get to have that argument about how your umbrella actually makes your liability higher than what number is there. And the person that you're arguing with doesn't believe you and doesn't know anything. And
I think we talked about that on the insurance episode.
Yeah, we did.
And then talked about opening temporary policies to do specific jobs. And
yeah, so I don't know about a temporary policy. Like I can endorse I could add coverage to my insurance policy now that will be effective until renewal. And I can drop it off at renewal. So I can't add something on there for 2 months. There are some, like we talked about USL&H, the longshore and harbor master, whatever insurance. And so on that, you add USL&H per job.
Right.
So I don't know enough about the insurance world to know exactly what you can add per job versus what you have to add for the rest of your, year up until your renewal. So, sometimes what I've experienced is basically every contract that I receive goes to my insurance company. They review the insurance. Con crap.
Wow.
Con crap.
Your true self was just, I'm coming out at the booth.
So let
me out of here.
Every contract goes to the insurance company. They review the insurance requirements. They come back and they love to write these like 74,000 word dissertations about the insurance section. Like it'll be 1 page of insurance requirements and they send me back 20 pages of something that's wrong with that 1 page. So that's fun in itself. And a lot of times,
not looking forward to it.
What I've experienced is I'll take the insurance requirements, send it in, they come back with all this crazy stuff, and I will just ask for our standard certificate of insurance, and I send it to the contractor. I'm like, all right, this is what we have. If you want anything more, it's going to cost you extra money. Most of the time they say, that works. Every once in a while they say, no, it doesn't work. You have to change your policy, in which case I give them a quote for whatever it costs.
For more information, see episode 10.
Yep. That's right. So like I said, this stuff is going to kind of overlap with what we already talked about before, but I don't remember what we talked about before, and I was in the room. So probably someone listening might not remember either. But anyways, that's kind of how I handle those weird situations is I'll, send it back to them and say, this is what we have. If you want more, it costs extra, and kind of enter into that negotiation stuff a little bit on the insurance. You will have to submit proof of the things we talked about before: insurance, contractor's license, bonds, all of this type of stuff. So don't think you're going to pull a fast one on somebody and just say, yeah, sure, I have a license for that, when you really don't. So the bid bond is the next thing. I think we've touched on this a little bit, but we've never really talked about it. I am trying to get a bond guy on the show so we can kind of get a little deeper into that. But some jobs, when you bid them, you have a bid bond, which takes time to get. You need to know kind of an idea of how much the job's going to be when you go to someone and ask them for a bid bond. Obviously, you need to know who it's being bid to, what it is, all that kind of stuff. But have an idea of what the cost of the job will be to get your bid bond issued. And that'll take a day or two to get done. And it has to be like, they can't email it to you, right? It is original is what you have to have and what has to be submitted. Performance and payment bond. Oh, do you want to know what a bid bond is?
Sure.
This is my simple understanding of what a bid bond is. Bid bond.
You're killing it.
Bid bond. I just say it in Italian. A bid bond. So the bid bond is if I submit a price for $50,000 for that job and they want to award the job for me, the bond company is saying that they will guarantee that job is going to be done for that price. Make sense?
Yep.
So if I try to back out and I'm like, nope, now it's going to be 60,000, then they can file a bond claim and go through that whole process. And the bond company has to either hire someone else to do the job and, only charge the customer 50 grand or
I'm
whatever.
going to out myself a little bit, but I think
Okay.
well, no, I'm going to out someone else that
Yeah. You heard a story about this.
Right. So
Yeah.
kind of like a bail bondsman, basically.
That guarantees that you're going to come to court?
Not me. I don't go to court.
Right. Your buddy's going to, or that person you heard
And by
about
I
on
don't
the
go to
news?
court, I don't mean I don't get arrested. I mean, I don't go to court.
They're still looking for you. That's why we're in the basement down here.
Right. Yes. No, just saying. But so they basically guarantee, they are an extra measure of, yes, this person has the funds to do it, and we're going to guarantee that, yes, they'll do it.
Well,
and
at
if
least
they don't,
through
then we will.
At least through the like contract obligation phase.
Right.
And then from there is where your performance and payment bond takes over. So that is saying that that Memphis Fence Company would indeed do the job for the $50,000, complete the job for $50,000, and we would pay all of our vendors, suppliers, everything like that.
Right.
And if we fail to do any of that, then they can file a bond claim on the payment and performance bond, and the bond company will then have to step in and get the job done for the $50,000. So kind of in a nutshell, that's what your bond does. The payment and performance bond does cost money. So
is it a percentage of the value of the bid, or?
So it's actually, for me, it's say $1.50 per $1,000 for the first 150,000. And then from there, it's $1.25 per thousand for the next 150,000. And then it's $1 per thousand for the next 150. Like it's some crazy thing like that.
But is it like literally a quarter increment, or is it like some weird number?
I just made those up. But it incrementally decreases per thousand the bigger the job gets.
Okay.
So and you do have a bond limit. So like a single bond limit, an aggregate bond limit, all of that stuff. So you're only allowed to bond a job up to a certain size, and you're only allowed to collectively bond jobs up to a certain amount too. No, don't want to do a software update right now. Kind of in the middle of something here. So that's kind of a nutshell about what bonds do. And just remember, bid bond, for me, it's free. I assume that's standard. I don't know that for sure, but it doesn't cost us anything to get a bid bond, but it does take some time. And the performance and payment bond is what we'll pay for. Typically, if you have to have a bid bond, you will have to have a performance and payment bond. Those
kind of go hand in hand.
That's right.
Okay.
So inside your contract, normally there will be something that tells you a time frame for returning the contract and submittals, which we suck at. Sorry, anyone who's listening that's waited on us for sending a contract back. And then there also is, a construction schedule. A lot of times, not always, but most of the time there will be some sort of construction schedule in there. We talked about this before and how the schedule is basically useless at this point because things are going to change. The dirt contractor is going to get, 174% more time than what he anticipated, and we're going to get 174% less time.
All of the time that the first trade uses, we don't have.
Yeah. So that sucks to be the last
and
dude.
The money.
Right. Right. So yeah, by the time we get there,
trade on the scene gets the shaft.
They've removed the ornamental fence and they've put a tarp in its place.
Right.
And we have 7 minutes to install it.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah, it sounds like we're complaining, but I think both of us kind of enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
So
it's
as much as it's like, oh, so stressful, oh wow, but it's like it is really fun. It's kind of like,
I oftentimes think about myself in a position that's just like data entry.
Right.
or, you know, like on an assembly line, putting a bolt in, or, you know, something
Sure.
like that. Just some task over and over. There's never any more pressure or any less pressure. Like it's just a consistent flow. And I think it would drive me insane.
Right.
Like I don't know what's wrong with me, but I really enjoy the time in life when I feel like the whole world is about to fall in on me and I have to do like 17 things in the next 3 minutes. That's when I really enjoy it.
Right. I'm going to pull my hair out, but then afterwards I'm like, we made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, let's do that again next week.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go bid some more jobs. That was great.
Well,
So
hence the whole starting 4, 5, 6, however many businesses or extensions
all
of
of
the
them.
business we're starting at once.
I think every week I tell Ilaria to go make a new Facebook page.
We need a new logo design. We need
Yeah.
a new trade name.
Right.
I had an idea.
Let's do it. It's an idea that I had while I was sleeping last night.
Saw
and we're
another-
doing it.
Saw another blue. Wait, it's actually the same color blue. It's just a little bit different shaped. Saw a different blue shape.
Yeah, and that font is just a hair different, so we got to have that one too. All right. Okay, so just be aware that the schedule thing, they will throw that crap in your face.
Oh yeah, punitive damages.
Well, not even that yes, but I'm saying like I've had we shared this story where a contractor called us and they're like, "Hey, we're ready for you to come set post." Well, we haven't even ordered the material and it's going to take 6 weeks. Oh, well, the contract says you were going to have that material here 2 months ago. Why didn't you do that? Da 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 da. And I mean, okay, yeah, maybe you're right, but you know, you
I don't
also are a
want
project
to.
manager. Like maybe you should manage the project a little bit, because I know that when I get a schedule at the beginning of the job, it's not right.
Sure.
So they will throw that crap in your face, and they don't want to hear that it's going to cost extra money to get something expedited or to do it after the concrete's poured or any of that crap. They don't freaking care. Like you just suck it up and you go do it. And sometimes you get people that'll work with you that are understandable and reasonable and all that, but sometimes you don't. Yeah. So what Zach's talking about, liquidated damages. I think you called
there we
them
go.
punitive.
That's not
I
a
think
thing.
that's something from court, right?
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I'm still having recently been arrested, which did not happen. It hasn't happened.
It's a joke.
Actually.
It's a joke.
I haven't been arrested in over 10 years.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
Yay. Go Zach.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's a real messy one. I think when we talked about that before, I think I told the story of the job I was looking at. There was a 4-lane road
Right.
over a bridge, and the liquidated damages were $1,250 per lane per hour.
Yeah, that one.
Right. So, you know, you can get some crazy ones. Some of them are reasonable. I mean, I've seen $50 a day, and like, okay, you know, if I
Sure.
think I'm going to be late, I'm just going to stick a few weeks in there at the beginning of the job.
Right.
But
This is the time to do this. That's what we're talking about, these preparations.
Yep.
If you think it's going to take longer, if you anticipate whatever, you know, going over, and we're about to talk about parts of the contract you don't agree with, the scheduling, and all those options to discuss. And this is the importance
I think
of reading, and then you reading, and then having someone else read the contract.
Yep. And I think something important that we should do, and we don't, is we should produce our own schedule. And we should submit that to the general contractor and say, here's how much time we need to, you know, procure. And then here's how much time we need to prepare. And here's how much time we need to, I wish there was a word for install that started with a P. How much word we need to install, or how much time we need to install. And like, you know, kind of like give them that schedule so that they know, because sometimes you'll see a job and they're like, oh, there's only 74,000 feet of fence on here. You can do that in a week, right? And, you know, sometimes they're a little bit unrealistic, but when you get a contract, you can take your little red pen and go through there and redline that thing, or, you know, do it electronically or whatever. But you can mark it up and you can say, nah, I don't agree with that. And I mean, you can strike stuff, you can revise stuff and all of that. You okay over there, man?
I got to take a break.
Oh, see ya.
I'll be back shortly.
This is what happened when we were going to Vegas. I have flashbacks.
PTSD.
So, when we were going to Las Vegas, we got on the plane here in Memphis. We're sitting in the plane, And Zach is not a friend of a fan of flying. What are you doing? Yeah, you're just liking every picture.
Don't tell our tactics.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I see Ilaria just going from picture tapping to picture tapping. So anyways, we get on the plane, we sit down, and Zach's not a fan of this stuff. And you can tell like he's got some anxiety going on and all this. And I mean, they're like, everyone's boarding the plane and all that stuff. And he just jumps up. He's like, I gotta go. I'll be back. And I mean, like, just plows away through the aisle. Everyone's been on an airplane. You know, the aisle is not that big. Zach is not that small. He just plows his way all the way up the aisle against the flow of traffic and leaves the plane and like goes back to the airport. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm about to go to Las Vegas for a fin show by myself. And I'm just sitting here like, what is going on? Where is Zach? And just like this, he did return. And so I am. So we made it to Las Vegas and everything.
I told that to
You told
whatever
it.
episode that was with Tony Thornton.
Yeah.
I told that's the full story.
Yeah, so I just told a version, a less than 15-minute version.
Thank you. Don't let me tell it.
All right, so back to the red line stuff. When you get into that, I've been in situations before where it took me a month or more of negotiating on a contract and like going back and forth. And, you know, by the end of it, you wind up in this email thread that's got 20 different people copied on it. And you've got attorneys. And I mean, I think the superintendent and, you know, the electrician and everybody else was involved in negotiating on our contract. But we worked through it and we came to an agreement and got the contract executed and sent it off.
So what do you think about, from our side of things, in these easier contractors to work for, if they're not issuing a contract? I feel like I don't know that we should, but it's an interesting thought that maybe we have our own version that is more than a proposal.
We do.
Okay. So, and is that something as far as preparing for the job?
You've used the version of our contract. Are you setting me up or do you really not know?
Oh, you mean I'm supposed to be doing that?
Okay. Yeah. So we do have a contract that we can provide an owner.
Right.
Or a customer, general contractor, whatever it is. Most of them have like a standard contract form and they'll send it to you. But yeah, you need a contract.
Right.
Like even if it's their contract, our contract, whatever it is, we need some sort of agreement that's signed that says like, we're going to do this fence for this amount of money.
Right.
Yeah. But it's, we do have a contract.
Yeah, I've used it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that caught me a little off guard. Sorry.
I like to. I know these things. I like to propose them as questions, as if I am an audience member or a viewer.
Okay. Yeah,
and that's the structure. And it seems,
okay,
it makes you nervous.
Well, that's why I asked you. I wasn't sure.
I pretty much know most
of
the questions I ask you. I know the answer to. I'm asking as a person who's an onlooker to.
Maybe that one I just wasn't sure about.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Whew, man. Just kidding. It's not that dramatic.
No, because nothing bad has happened yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So also, once you get through the contract, guess what? There's going to be some other stuff attached to it back there. Hopefully, one of those things will be your proposal. That's great when they include that instead of just like a line in the contract that says fence and gates for $10,000. Really like to see that proposal in there. A lot of people want you to like go ahead and assign contact people. And so, I mean, you might assign your office people for like billing and assign your project manager, assign your crew leader, assign a superintendent. Like they may want all of these people assign a safety person. So that sometimes is like a person inside of your organization that's in the office that would handle the safety stuff. Sometimes it's a person that has to actually be on the job site. Just kind of depends. You might see like a Buy America clause or act or something like that that says everything you're going to use on the job is domestic. You know, they may want safety training for the equipment that you're going to use on the job site or for, you know, ladders and fall protection and all of that kind of stuff. I know I'm trying to figure out which camera you swapped. And they will want proof of that safety training. You can't just be like, oh yeah, they know how to do it. They've been doing it, blah, blah, blah. That don't work. No. And then, sometimes they want people or a person with like a OSHA 10 or OSHA 30 class or something. And that may be your safety person that you can assign. That may be people on site, CPR, first aid, drug testing, all that kind of stuff.
What was one of the other things that's kind of odd is specific companies require us to use specific brand tools on their jobs.
Well, you mean the company that makes the tools requires that we use their tools?
Yeah.
Isn't that odd?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's weird. And they don't supply them to us. We have to own them.
Yeah, we had to buy them. Oh. But the first few jobs we did for them, we did get away with using our own tool brand of our choosing.
The Memphis Fence tool brand.
MFC tools.
Nice.
Look for that on Facebook next week.
MFC Power Tools.
So Alaria's crying now. Yeah, so they did let us get away with using some other tools there for a little bit, and then they finally said something. They're like, you really should be using our tools when we're hiring you to do a fence. And I mean, it's a fair point.
Is it?
I think.
I don't agree with that.
I think.
Are they going to provide the tools?
Yeah, as long as you provide them with a check.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't sound a fair point to me, really.
So you just tack it on to
how much is the job? I mean, if you did $150,000 for these people, would that make it a little more fair?
Well, how much are the tools?
$40,000.
$1,000.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
For a whole set up a whole truck for $1,000.
Yeah, and if it's a good brand, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
it's the wrong color.
It is the wrong color. In fact, does anyone make tools? Well,
color.
There's a box store brand that's the right color. I'm not sure they'd hold up quite for what we're doing. I do have some of those at my house. All right. So also in your contract, you're going to have warranty forms that'll be done at the end of the job. You'll have lien waivers, partial lien waivers, and final lien waivers. Partial lien waivers submitted with your monthly billing. Final lien waiver submitted at the end of the job. And we talked about all of that, I believe, before. The billing forms and hopefully the billing process will be included in your contract package. So you do have to complete your bill on their forms. For some reason, all of the forms have the same information, but they all have their own form. And the formatting is different. The logos are different, things along those lines. So I personally have Excel spreadsheets that I have built that contain this information. And I just will do it in my own Excel spreadsheet and then transpose that over onto their form. So just, and when you're billing, remember, this month, we will submit bills, depending on holidays and whatnot, probably around the 20th of December. And we will get paid for those jobs around December 15th. I mean,
February.
February 15th. I'm sorry. That was a big mistake. So submit the bill December 20th, get paid February 15th.
Wouldn't that be cool if you could submit on the 20th of December and get paid
on
December
15th?
On December 15th?
Yeah, that would be weird.
Be amazing.
Yeah. That would be crazy. So there we go. Look, 1 hour and we made it through one of two topics that we had on here. So this will be split. We're going to split the split. It's splitception.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, good. What are you looking at? What's going on?
The time and the next topic and wondering how far we're going to go.
We're not going any further.
Oh, you're not going into...
We're not going into the next topic. The next topic...
I was going to say it out loud, boys.
The next topic is submittals.
Boys and girls.
Let's circle back to this whole prime contractor thing that you threw out earlier that we would...
Hey, that's a good last few minutes of fun.
Yeah, let's throw that out for a few minutes.
So Dan decided we were not disorganized or or stretched thin or all working having multiple job titles. So now we're going to do some more.
Yeah, basically nobody's doing enough already. So let's do some more.
Let's do more.
I think people have probably seen a pattern in listening to our Meet the Team episodes where everyone is like, yeah, I do this, and so people wear a lot of hats and do a lot of jobs, but I mean, we also got a lot of people. So let's use them, man. Let's push them a little bit. Let's see what they can do. Let's see what everybody's got. Yeah, I know. Remember, the people on the
I don't even
podcast
know
don't get to
where.
see you.
I know, so they don't know where I go when I just go
Right.
away. I just went away for a minute.
Well, remember
was
the
thinking-
conversation I had with the guy about the NASA team. So it's not like NACA again. It's not like I'm opposed to employing additional people if necessary. So there is that.
No,
But,
I'm with that. I'm with that.
The overall concept, what we're doing is we're expanding, right? We're pursuing additional contractors licenses. We're taking steps right now to be able to work in Missouri.
Right.
And we're taking steps in a few other states, but we're probably the closest in Missouri. But yeah, I know I'm struggling tonight, man. I'm struggling.
Do I get to travel and go on site to take pictures?
Will you?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's boring.
I don't know. It depends on what we do. Maybe if we do some really cool stuff, then yeah, we're gonna go on a road trip. All right, so that
we
was the
wanna-
plan, is to like go after these fence jobs and kind of like be a little selective about the jobs that we want to bid. Right? I want to bid complicated stuff. I want to bid the hard jobs. I don't want to go bid 6-foot tall chain link all across the country. I mean, unless we just get really good and figure out we can make good money. I don't know. But my thought right now is that we're going to go after complicated stuff. And so I was thinking about, no, I'm not going to talk about that. So then I was like, wait a minute. What if we just filled the role of prime contractor a little bit? And we'll have these people that call and they're like, hey, we want to fence around our parking lot. And then we find out they're also redoing the asphalt, the striping, adding gate operators, which we would typically do, but running power to the gate operators, doing all of that stuff. Why can we not just be prime? Yeah. Parking blocks, maybe, some curb work.
I heard some
curb work.
Just Java's on there calling those wheel stops.
Wheel stops?
I've called it a parking block since I was
I really
10.
want to flip your microphone over. It's really annoying me now.
No one listening can see that.
I know, but
as you keep
in fact, no one on that. Hold on, I'm gonna turn mine just so everyone on camera can see that it's turned the right way. There we go. All right. So, anyways, yeah, I call them parking blocks. But if you want to call them wheel stops, I don't care what you call it, as long as you.
That's
send
what
a
me
check.
and Dan do in our not on the podcast, talking about actual things. We just dork around about nothing,
weird stuff.
Yeah. And basically, whatever I like, you say no, I don't like it like that. I'm gonna do it like this, and I do the same thing to you.
Yeah,
and that would be okay if we were partners, but I'm your employee, and so it's kind of an interesting dynamic we have here.
You look at yourself. Look at yourself. No one can see you.
I know. I was looking at you, man.
You're hiding behind your boom.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna try to go after that prime contractor role a little bit. I don't necessarily think we're gonna go out and bid a bunch of public work or anything like that. At least not for the foreseeable future. And I have some concerns about like general contractors getting mad if we do too much of that. So we're gonna kind of feel our way through it, but at least we are gonna take on some of those projects that are kind of like the parking lot remodel type of stuff and things like that. So. That's we don't even need a new brand. Wait a minute, we might.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we might need a new brand.
I thought we already got one. She doesn't even know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later if we forgot to tell you. Yeah, and also we didn't tell you about the shoe store yet either, but we'll talk about that.
And we decided to scrap the uniform company and just start our own.
Make our own. We're gonna let you sew them.
I was gonna make a really mean joke, but I can't.
Why?
Because
it's not fit for YouTube. Oh,
yeah, can't do that.
Against Americans?
No. I don't need to be kicked out.
I asked for that. I'm like, what do Italians think of Americans? And some things that you make fun of us for. I love this.
I really want to can you swap some cameras just for fun?
Okay.
Hey, now we're over there.
So the prime contractor, I think that's the extent that you're going to talk about that?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, cool.
I mean, all we can do is commit, like with everything else. We'll let people know how it goes. We didn't tell anybody that we're, making steps in Missouri, but I mean, it's still a ways off. It's not like we're bidding a job in Missouri tomorrow or anything. So, y'all, Missouri folks, just relax a little bit. But, anyways, that's what we got. And next time we're gonna pick up and we will talk about submittals. And I have a story that I find to be pretty entertaining to go with those. So there's just something to look forward to.
That's pretty fun. That's fun. I'm looking forward to it. I just learned how to draw in AutoCAD in the past couple months, or maybe last month.
Yeah.
So
the last month.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And have since had the opportunity to submit my own submittals without much of your assistance.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Next time.
So,
thanks everyone for listening.
thanks for joining.
Tell us you like it or don't or whatever, and tell us what to talk about.
Cool.